Thank you for inviting me. I always love to come and talk about my favorite subject, which is community school. I started the community school. My background, you have to understand, my background is social work. So when you hear me speak, you're going to hear social work all throughout my speech. Basically, I was a social worker for 18 years in the school department as a school adjustment counselor. I am a licensed social worker. And back in 1989, after I had finished a stint with the school department as a special ed administrator when they had a lawsuit, when we got done with the lawsuit, after the third year, the superintendent said to me, I never thought I would become a principal. That wasn't on my radar screen. It was counseling psychology. And he said, you did such a good job with special ed. Can you take over the school that's dysfunctional? The parents don't want the kids there. The kids don't want to be there. The teachers don't want to be there. Will you take it over? So I said, I never say no. I said, sure, it's another adventure. I'll do that. So that's back in 1989. And when I got there, and some of you might be, because you're from other cities and towns, you might be in the same situation where you have schools that are dysfunctional, and you're asked to go in and try to turn them around. What I did do was set up first thing I did, so some of you have some information, was I call them the gate parents. Those are parents who hang around the gate. They solve all your problems. They got all the answers. I needed to do something to bring them into the school. So I set up a parents' room right across from my office. I had 4, and you can put, if you're taking notes, RAIN parents, R-A-I-N. It's after a program in Florida, and it's Referral and Information Network. That's what and they spoke 4 different languages. So every morning they would go out, invite the parents, the gate parents in, have coffee, and we used to talk and find out what was on their minds and what was wrong with the school and what would they like to see happen. So they gave us a whole list of things. We did a survey. They felt very strongly that we should survey the parents, which we did do. And I have to share with you, they came up with 3 goals for me as a principal. The first goal was that they wanted education. Better than half of them did not have a high school diploma. So the first thing they wanted was an education. So I started a night school, and we put in, and we believe in 3 things. We call it one-stop shopping. First you learn English, second you get your high school diploma, third you become a citizen. So that was our night school, one-stop shopping. So they needed these 3 things to be successful. The second thing they wanted, a lot of them worked 2 and 3 jobs. They wanted daycare. So they wanted me to try to come up with a program where we had daycare for them so they could go to work. What we did was, because I'll tell you, you can't depend on grants. Grants run for so long, 3 years, like at that time, they had the 21st Century Grant. That only lasted for the school department 3 years. I'm proud to say, since 1989, 90, we've had daycare in my school. And when I say daycare, it's like, what we did do, and there are a lot of agencies in your cities and towns, or wherever you come from, all you have to do is invite them in, which we went around. I had a parent group, and we interviewed all the agencies that service youngsters for after-school programs, and then we came up with a selection. We selected Leo as a daycare provider, and they basically have been with me for all these years providing the daycare. So when the boys and girls, my school is 7:45 to 2:45. When the boys and girls get out at 2:45, they go to daycare till 5:45. So they have daycare, and that's when they go to daycare. Also, vacations, no school days, daycare is available at the school. So that's the second thing they wanted. Education, daycare, and the third thing they wanted was a clean and safe neighborhood. At that time, it was ground zero for domestic violence, drug abuse, and alcohol. There were a lot of things going on in that neighborhood. So we put a group together, And we started working, and you can do this in your communities. We started working with the Lynn Housing Authority. And we started keying in on certain parts of the neighborhood that were problematic. It ended up, I don't know if anybody from the Highlands here, like, oh, okay, we got a few. There were, right down the end of the street by the school, there were 3 huge, multiple family houses, and they were constantly, we got the police records. And what the Housing Authority did, it took them about 4 or 5 years, but we tore them down and we provided, you see those nice townhouses overlooking Lynn? And they were, a lot of the families were relocated there. That made a huge difference in, with the police coming up there. The next thing I did was go down to, and keep thinking social work, because I'm a social worker. I had a good relationship with the courts. So I went down to the courts, and I think it was Judge Dever was there. Anybody remember Judge Dever at the time? But we set up a program where any of the gang members got arrested, they were remanded to my GED night school. So I started taking in the gangs who, the members of the gangs who got in trouble, and they had to go to my night school to get their GED. The next thing we did was we set up a program with North Shore Community College. So I partnered with North Shore after they got through with their GED, and all the parents, after they finished their GED, they could go down to North Shore, and they have many programs for them, and they provide financial assistance. So if you hear the theme, and feel free to raise your hands and ask me questions in the middle of it. So we basically started, a lot of people were going down, they took the GED test at North Shore Community College, and they stayed there. And many parents got their degrees there. And it's partnerships. The second thing I did do was, at that time there was my parents needed jobs, so there was a teacher aide certification program at North Shore, one of whom I taught one course. My vice principal taught the other course. I talked North Shore into relocating it because they were having a space problem. A lot of their courses were over in the T station here. I talked them into doing it at the school. So we started running courses from North Shore Community College at the school, one of which was the teacher aide. So you can guess a lot of the parents at Ford School became teacher aides. There are many of them running around. So you see what I'm doing? I'm trying to build and educate the parents. Presently, we opened our night school in the fall. We do the GED, and we're doing the ELL. I have 250 parents there right now doing it. So, does it work? Yes. Many parents get their degrees. Another thing we do, partner with, a big thing is if you're going to do a community college, partner with colleges. We have a partnership with Gordon. We have a partnership with North Shore. I told you some of the things I do with North Shore. I have a partnership with Salem State College. And part of the things, and I have to tell you, it does help when you're on the part-time faculty because you get to know people and it gives you an in and you know who to go to. You have to find your go-to person at every one of these places. Every child from 3rd grade up gets to take a semester over at the college. It's a 6-week course. The kids are bussed over after school, and they take a 6-week course, 2 weeks in physical fitness, 2 in computers, and 2 in arts and crafts. The kids wear t-shirts so we don't lose them. We're very creative. You can make up names for them. We call it the FAST program, F-A-S-S-T, Ford at Salem State Together. So that's one of the programs. But what am I doing? I'm building education, and giving the kids, many kids now have gone over to Salem State to get their degree. So when I don't think just individual kids, I think the whole family. And I think personally, it's a passion with me. I have to share with you, over the past 15 years, I've gone with Dr. Mapp, Harvard Graduate School of Education, and we've been all over the United States. She's the researcher, Dr. Mapp. She works at the Harvard Graduate School of Ed, and she calls me the reality show. So I'm the reality show, and we go around. The last place we went was Las Vegas. They have a serious problem out there with educating kids. And I'll just share with you, give you an example, because you can be creative. You can think of a lot of different things. When we went out there, and it's very similar here, but on a smaller scale. Think of what's out in Las Vegas. They have hotels, and there are a lot of workers at the hotel with many different languages. At Ford School, we have 48 different languages, 48 of them. And they have similar situations out there. So what Dr. Mapp does is give them the research on how community schools are effective, and then I come in and tell them how we're doing it. Does it work? She talks to them a lot. It's made a huge difference, because what you have to do is, like Carly mentioned, school's open at 7 in the morning and it closes 9 at night. And what do I do with that? I have the night school on Monday and Tuesday nights. On Wednesday, that's for the community. We have the Highlands Coalition. We have different people using the school. And so it's open to anybody in the neighborhood who wants to do something. They do also, it's open in the summer. I'm open all summer. And we're open like all different kinds of tutoring programs after school. You have an after-school Leo program. We just got notified at MIT. The kids are going to the MIT astronomy program and the robotics program. So the key to a success of a community school is a welcoming, like when people come. One of the people in the neighborhood said, I have a reading club with some people who live in the neighborhood. Could we use the school? Sure, you can use the school. There's 8 of them, but they want to have their reading club at the school. So it has to be welcoming to the community, and I've got a few people there, they're regulars at the school. Also, most important is education. Education for the kids. You see we're giving them incentives. Gordon College is another partner. So you've got Salem State, you've got North Shore Community College, the third one is Gordon. And Gordon comes in college and does lunch buddies. So we assign lunch buddies. They come in with a group of youngsters and they have lunch with the kids. And is that effective? Mentoring kids, getting kids. I go around, I went to the CVS a week ago, and I went into the CVS in Swampscott, and then I was like, hi, Dr. Crane, how are you? And this was a youngster who was at the Ford School, who now is a pharmacist. And like she said, wow. So, and I went up to TJ Maxx in Danvers. Hi, Dr. Crane, how are you? I'm finishing, I'm gonna graduate from Salem. So very, very important to put that college piece in with your community school.
Want to talk about the Hillel?
Yeah, then next. We have a lot of partnerships. The next one is, we have a partnership with Governor's Academy. Pingree comes down. Another one is Hillel Academy. Hillel Academy comes on Fridays, and it's called Reading Buddies. So they read to the youngsters. We celebrate all holidays. They come with on Hanukkah, and they do the dreidels with the kids.